Oh, we are now being joined by Benson Enikuomehin, a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, to discuss the latest victory of the PDP and Governor Godwin Obaseki in the just concluded gubernatorial election in Edo State, as well as the party's chances in the forthcoming governorship election in Ondo State. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure being here.
Indeed. Now, this victory in Edo State of your party has been attributed to several things by several people, depending on where you're looking at it from. Some would say this was a victory for the Edo people. Some would say it was a fight for the end of godfatherism. Some would say it was a victory for the person of Governor Godwin Obaseki and not necessarily the PDP. What do you attribute this success to?
Well, the day that you kill an elephant, you expect that all manner of knives, cutlasses will be available for the purpose of shearing the animal. Therefore, the success recorded in Edo State will definitely attract all manner of comments. PDP worked hard, APC fought against APC, those state people asserted their right. Some external forces were there to assist. All manner of explanations will be given. For all the explanations, the conclusion is simple. The PDP has won the governorship election in Edo State, QED. The factors that contributed to the success of that election should therefore be attributed to the people who were able to marshal those factors to come to being. I am a lover of boxing, though I am not a boxer, but I see that when you enter into the ring, the two of you are desirous, or the two of them, the competitors are desirous of outdoing the other person. And so when you land the first blow and your opponent staggers, you don't wait. You go ahead and keep hitting, particularly if you're able to corner the person up at angle 90. At angle 90, then it has issues. And so if APC was able to be caught up at angle 90 by the PDP, then PDP has done well. Well, the beauty of it is this. Edo State people spoke, and they spoke so loudly. There is no mistaking in their voices at all. They said Edo State belonged to Edo State people and must be run by Edo State people for the benefit of Edo State people. And that was what transpired on Saturday. And if that be the case, kudos to them. The way they did it, the manner in which they did it, is immaterial now. We are not talking about a foul election. We are not talking about an election that was fraught with fraud. We are talking about the people voting, and all the votes counted. Therefore, kudos to them. But I'm quick to add, they must not stay long in the euphoria of we won. The people believe Governor Obaseki, they trust him, they have confidence in him. Please ensure that they are not disappointed. This is the time to make sure that all hands are on deck for the purpose of delivery. If what he could not do when godfatherism was in place,
all right,
now he can do, he should go ahead and do so for
Benson,
his people.
Yeah, good, Benson. Fantastic. What made the difference that this time round in the Edo election in terms of how seemingly smooth the election was?
Can I hear you very well, please?
What made the difference in the Edo election in terms of how it was conducted, how seemingly smooth it was? I mean, the election in Edo State. What made the difference this time, particularly on the side of INEC?
Well, this INEC has not enjoyed beautiful comments from Nigerians in that some of the elections that have been held, particularly in some neighboring states, have not prove that this INEC is all that genuine in his desire to deliver that which is good for the people of Nigeria. And therefore, when a person is criticized, the essence of criticism is that he might turn around and do the needful and do what is right. I want to believe that the criticism that a good number of us and Nigerians have levied against INEC in the time past may have contributed to INEC wanting to live up to expectation. I am not here to pass judgment, but I must commend Professor Jega for the things that he did. You can't take it away from him. Under his watch, Nigerians felt that INEC was doing well, and I had expected that Professor Mahmood would have built on that. But what we saw, both in the general election and all those scattered elections that we had, wasn't anything to write home with. I think maybe INEC must have taken a cue from that and then decided to do what was right, what was just, what was fair. In Edo State, I was not there. People who went there said at least they saw something that they could give a pass mark to INEC. And therefore, I believe that they should continue with that. And when they come to Ondo State, they should not only get pass mark, they should not be thinking of getting credit and up to distinction. If these things are done, you don't need to bring 45,000 policemen to come, because once the people know that their votes will count, they will defend their votes. So, Edo people defended their votes. Okay. INEC did well. Mm-hmm. I'm told also that the police also, when they saw the things that were on ground, they decided to cooperate, and they did well. I think that those things are commendable.
All right, Dr. Enikuomehin, let's focus on Ondo State now. A few similarities between both states when you look at number of local government areas. We also have 18 local government areas in Ondo State. The contenders in this election are also familiar, as we saw in Edo State. Do you think that history will also repeat itself from the last elections in Ondo State?
I don't know the type of history that may be repeated, but I know that the people of my state yearn for good governance. And we have a history. If you do well, you will be commended. If you don't do well, if there's need to slightly spank you, we will do it. And if there's need to condemn you, we will do it. The government at the saddle, that is the Governor Akeredolu's government, I may not have too much accolade to give, and I'm cautious of the words I use. Too much accolades to give, because a lot of expectations were on ground when the government came on board. What we have seen is not something that is justifiable. And therefore, in Ondo State, you recall in 2015, when we were not happy with what President Jonathan and Governor Mimiko, what they were doing, we voted en masse for President Muhammadu Buhari, notwithstanding that Jonathan was in the saddle as president and Governor Mimiko was the coordinator for the Southwest. We have our history. Now, in the same vein, 2019, we had felt disenchanted with what was happening at the federal level, coupled with the manner in which the state affairs were being handled. Again, we went ahead and voted against APC, notwithstanding that President Muhammadu Buhari is on the throne. Arakunrin Oluwarotimi Akeredolu is governor. In that state, we had 2 senators as our representatives, while APC managed to get 1 senator. And we have 3 members of the House of Representatives, and that is the record.
All right, they have 1, you have 2. I don't know about managing. All right,
but that is the truth.
I don't know about managing. They have 1,
if they
you
don't
have
manage,
2.
maybe they were lucky to have 1.
All right, let me ask you this. Excuse me.
Sorry, please.
Thank you. APC has congratulated Governor Obaseki. The president did that almost immediately. The question I have for you, Benson, is, will PDP do the same if they lose in Ondo State election?
Now, if we lose according to the rule.
You're qualifying. You're qualifying it.
Because the one.
Will you yield and congratulate APC?
Just a moment. We won't congratulate if it's fraudulent. We won't congratulate if they manipulate. The one in Edo State, which we are commending now, there was no manipulation. There was no fraudulent act carried out that were very obvious. If the way it happens in Edo State is the way it also happens in Ondo State, for all intent and purpose, our candidate, Eita Ojegede SAN, in 2016, did congratulate Arakunrin Oluwarotimi Akeredolu when he won. So once the will of the people prevailed, then the thing becomes so easy. So you can't be saying, oh, why will I congratulate a robber who has come to rob my house? For what purpose? So if the people are not rigged, if the election is not rigged, if there's no fraud, if there is no harassment, if they don't use guntocracy, using gun for the purpose of driving people away, if the election comes in the manner in which it should come, election is ordinarily a game of number. So if you win, therefore we should congratulate. For example, I participated in our own internal primary not too long ago, just about 2 months ago. I didn't win. I had 252. The other guy had 1,360. He beat me hollow. So I went ahead and congratulated him. And I wish him well. So, and the election was free and fair. In the same way, if it is so, we will do. But we also expect them that when we also, quote and unquote, pepper them like Obaseki has done in Edo State, they should also not take up arms. They should accept it in good faith and congratulate us. And I'm sure we are willing and ready. For us, I have the mandate and authority of my principal, Eita Ojegede SAN, to tell the whole world he wants an election that is peaceful, that is credible, that is reliable, that can be adjudged to be the best so far in the country. And you look at his man. It's not a violent person.
Okay.
It's a person who believes in principle, the rule of law, and doing things right. For us, we will do it right.
Indeed. And let's talk about the preparations for these elections on the part of INEC. Barely weeks ago and weeks to the election, we heard about the terrible news of the card readers going up in flames. Over 4,000 card readers.
5,141.
Yeah. Indeed. Thank you so much. What are your concerns? First, what's your reaction to that? And what are your concerns going into this election on the part of INEC? They have been commended for what they did in Edo State. You have also said it's a pass mark, you wish them to do better. But are there any other concerns expressed by your principal?
Well, our party issued a press statement to this sordid act, and we condemned it in entirety, how 5,141 card readers will just be burnt just in a jiffy. And we felt something was fishy, and we issued our statement. But you see, in my place, there is a saying that if you know a woman to be of extraordinary power, and probably she is the one responsible for the illness of a particular child. Once you accost her, once you challenge her, they say in my place that she will back down. I am of the strong opinion that if there were fifth columnists in this regard, the kind of Judas Iscariot to sell Jesus, if they were available, now that they are aware, that the people are aware, the people know, I think they should back down. So with what transpired in Edo State, I want to encourage INEC to call such characters to order as quickly as possible so that we can move from good to better and from better to the best.
All right.
And that is the way it should be.
All right, I thought you would have called on the security to do that, not INEC. It's not
No,
INEC's. INEC does. We'll leave it there. INEC doesn't watch over these things. It's security people that should watch over them.
The beauty of it.
All right, well, we'll leave it there for now, Benson. Thank you so much, Benson Enikuomehin of the PDP in Ondo State on preview of Edo election.